Hey, everybody, Off the Mic Sports Network here. Another edition of Off the Top Rope. I have a question for everybody. What in the hell happened to Ricochet? What in the hell happened to Ricochet? Because this guy has been in AEW for basically 10 months. He showed up at the end of August at All In that Casino Gauntlet match. And it was a great debut. And listen, I've had the utmost respect for Ricochet as an athlete. I thought he was fine in WWE. He had a good run. Um, what the hell has happened to this guy? This guy is the ultimate. And some people will get at me in the comments saying, Mike, you're being worked. No, this guy's an asshole. This guy is an asshole because let me give you guys an example. So, Sean Ross Sapp, when R-Truth returned last night, Sean Ross Sapp, who he bugs me a little bit, but I respect what he does for the industry in terms of covering things. He said, I have chills. They listened, and a photo of R-Truth in his return last night. Ricochet responds this morning on Sunday morning and basically says, quote, I remember when Tony changed Mina Shirakawa's music back to her original music, and the fans shit on him saying Tony let the fans make decisions for him. Okay, I'm paraphrasing here. But now, when an entire company hires someone back, it's we got worked. Haha, a bunch of mental patients. Ricochet, I understand that you got paid, and you're all due respect to you, you're having the run of your life. Respectfully, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Calling fans a bunch of mental patients, first of all, that's a choice. Again, this is the whole thing that I've talked about in a separate video of like the narrative spinning around this R-Truth thing and trying to frame it as something is good than the other. Okay, first of all, Tony Khan changed an entrance theme within the span of 20 minutes. Congratulations, that's cool. Whatever. Mina Shirakawa, they did a new entrance theme which sucked. The fans said change it back. They did. You have a world champion who is universally considered one of the worst world champions in any major promotion in the last decade or so in Jon Moxley. You could have taken the belt off of him. You made us wait 5 hours for it. And Swerve Strickland could have won. And it could have been a much better build to All In. And who knows if Hangman is going to beat Jon Moxley. They've had multiple opportunities to pivot off of a certain situation, and they didn't do it. So WWE admits they fucked up, even though they're not going to publicly admit that they fucked up. It was not a work. And that's one thing that I will agree with Ricochet on is like, I don't even know if he was trying to say that it was a work, but wrestling fans are inherently stupid. I get that. Okay. In some respects, when it comes to wrestling, I am very stupid. Okay. I get it. But the way that Ricochet has interacted with the audience, and then the whole thing that he did with Javon Evans, and like his character is annoying, but I give him some credit for kind of reinventing himself and putting him and making himself a very good heel and pretty low-key kind of entertaining, one of the more entertaining things that AEW has. But doing this on social media does you no good. And people will say, well, hey, he's trying to draw interest and get people to watch the show. It's like, no, that's not what this is. Why are you interacting with people about a WWE situation? You're in AEW. You're in AEW. Who cares? And maybe Ricochet has a ton of respect for R-Truth. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. I don't get it. I don't care if this is a character thing, and I doubt it is. I think this is just who the guy is. I think he's just an asshole. Because how could you try to spin this whole situation into some narrative about your boss who, you try to spin it about your boss who has made a ton of terrible decisions in the last handful of years. He had an opportunity to correct the mistake that he could have corrected a whole situation and had a different build to All In. He didn't do that. And yet, because WWE listened to their fans, which most wrestling companies never do, they stick to their storylines, and I get that. But to act like Tony Khan is some sort of fucking saint because he changed Mina Shirakawa's music in the span of 15 minutes because of fan outrage on social media. What? Ricochet, you're already the biggest heel of all time because you took Samantha Irvin away from us, okay? You took Samantha Irvin away from us. And I understand that Samantha had different priorities that she wanted to get to. I'm blaming Ricochet for that because Ricochet, pretty much from the minute that he has turned heel, and some people will contribute this to like his character, it's not his character. He's just an asshole. Calling fans a bunch of mental patients and trying to frame your boss as some sort of good guy. Like, I understand that AEW sometimes tries to listen to their fans, but their fans are a bunch of sickos, and here's the way that I look at it. AEW fans are scared. A lot of them are scared to criticize Tony Khan. And that's why we've gotten the product that we've gotten. So, because one company made a change that, like was, a universally unpopular decision was corrected, and whether it was a work or not, it wasn't. Who cares? And why do you give a shit? Because you just want to frame and make your boss look better? Seriously, man. Like I don't get, and I've done a couple of videos on Ricochet recently. I've been really disappointed because, like I said, I never really thought he was a bad guy, but you're starting to see the social media activity that this guy has done specifically in the last few months, and this post really bothered me because, like I said, you're interacting with fans, calling them mental patients. You're interacting with fans, calling them idiots. And then some of the fans are supporting him in his Twitter war with Javon Evans, even though Javon Evans is 21 years old. Ricochet was Javon Evans before Javon Evans, and I get that. But, Javon Evans cooked him. Let's call that what it is. Like, it's just, listen, what good did this accomplish from Ricochet other than, trying to frame his boss as like, some sort of good guy? Tony Khan is no better than any other wrestling promoter in the world. Listen, I didn't like how this whole TKO thing with R-Truth played out. It was a mess. Again, but I've made my opinion. I've been consistent with my opinion. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. It turned into a much bigger deal than I even expected it to be. And credit to TKO and WWE for recognizing their mistake and bringing him back. I don't like how they're, framing this as, it's part of the show and feeding into the whole it's a work thing. Because let's be real, you have to be a fucking idiot to think that you got worked. There's just no logic behind that. But to even try to remotely compare R-Truth to a theme song of a female talent that you just brought in, what? Both these situations are not created equal. And I get sick and tired of everybody just trying to stand up for Tony Khan and try to act like he is some sort of gift to professional wrestling. He has done a lot of good. I'm not dismissing that. But to act like Tony Khan is any better than any other wrestling promoter in the world is ridiculous. It's totally disingenuous in my opinion. So Ricochet needs all due respect. Maybe, maybe not. Shut the fuck up, dude. Really. You're just making yourself worse. And if anything, people think I look like a shill. You sound like a shill. Bringing up Tony Khan into something when, hey, it was a great moment at Money in the Bank. Why does this have to? This is feeding the tribalistic mindset of everything. Why does this have to be, oh, Tony did this, but TKO did that? Who cares? A universally beloved figure got brought back into wrestling. Who cares? Anyway, guys, I'm at some point I'm going to get sick and tired of talking about this. It's clearly a big hot button issue. And we'll see how it plays out on television. But anyway, appreciate y'all subscribing and watching on the channel. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.